What's up, everybody? Doing a quick video from my car. but so not gonna talk about any particular step today. Really just want to address one thing. It popped up, and I want to address this idea of desire. I believe that addiction is not a problem of biology. I believe it's a problem of thinking. In particular, how we think about what we want, how we think about what we desire. You see, I think most people have the idea that what they desire is kind of something that just happens to them in a way. And I say that because I meet a lot of people who, are struggling with addiction, and they're asking themselves the question of why, like, why do I like this? Why is this the thing that I went after? And they're kind of confused about it. And they're convinced in a lot of ways that there is no changing this desire, that there is no changing this wanting on a person's part or in a person's mind. And I think in a way that this kind of idea, that this is completely, I don't really know where that idea comes from, but I know people believe it. That, again, they don't know why it is that they desire substances. They don't know why it is they desire to use these drugs. And again, they believe that it's something that they can't change, and it's something that it's just the way it is, Again, I don't believe that at all. I believe that from the not addicted standpoint, there are a lot of things we can do in order to change our desires. All right. And there's a couple parts to it, so I got to keep this video short, so I'm going to make it a little brief, but just kind of run through some questions and some necessary things that need to be done if you're looking to change a desire of yours. Number one, dealing with matters of thoughts, dealing with matters of belief. You need to believe, in particular, if we're talking about substances, if you want to change that desire, then you need to believe that there are other things you can do. Other things you can do that are more enjoyable, that will give you more sense of satisfaction. You need to believe that there are other things out there that you can do that make you feel better and would make you happier than living a life that revolves around substance using. So that's number one. Number two, how about asking yourself the simple question, what more do you have to gain from substance use? And I feel like that question right there, that's a big one. And until I heard it said one time, be honest, can't remember who said it, but they asked the question like that, what more do you have to gain from doing this? Don't you think you've gained everything already? This is what the drugs, this is what the alcoholism, whatever it may be, this is what it's rewarded you with. That being, maybe, your life is in shambles. Maybe you're in institutions. Maybe you're in jail. And these are the rewards. Here is what you gain from doing this. And when the question is posed, what more do you have to gain? I've seen it kind of provoke quite a bit more thinking in some individuals. Just that idea. So there's the question, ask yourself that. What more do you have to gain from doing this particular thing? And then on top of that, third element, you need to believe that there's great benefit in giving it up. All right. Now, some of us struggle with this because the addict, they get themselves into a situation where when they envision what sobriety is like, they're looking at it kind of in a vacuum. They're looking at being sober in the context of their current circumstance. So when, like if I have someone run through a pros and cons list, and I'll do this with some of my groups where, you do a pros and cons list, and I stopped doing it because I realized that in the given circumstances, a lot of these people believe the best thing to do is to use in order to escape that situation or to diminish the struggle that they're having. And in order for them to be okay with their circumstances, well, they need this added thing. They need this extra element, that being substance use, perhaps. Now, we need to stop doing that. We need to, when we're trying to change ourselves, we cannot look at the change, what we're trying to change, just in the context of our current circumstances. Because then what you get is, again, taking substance use, what you get is somebody who is trying to change with the belief that because their current circumstances are whatever they are, they believe that, well, okay, so I give this up, but I'm still in this life, So what my life looks like going forward is the same exact thing, the same circumstances, the same kind of life, just without, the great escape, the substance, without the thing that, most addicts would say makes them okay with being in that kind of situation. So you need to be able to look at what you're doing, and what it means outside of the current circumstance. And so this is the biggest challenge for the addict. You need to be able to see, what the benefit of that change is, not just in, what's currently going on, but then, where the benefit is later down the road. This process, getting clean and changing a substance use problem, it is a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. All right? Addiction is a long-term sacrifice for a short-term gain. So you cannot make a meaningful change in this realm if you're just thinking about how it benefits you in the short term, or what it does to you in the short term, or how it's going to feel in the short term. You have to be able to be, forward-minded. You have to be able to look past the current situation and the current circumstance and, be able to see the benefit past all of that. All right, fourth element. You need to have something new to replace it with. All right. In certain addiction circles, they harp on that idea of, oh, you're just replacing one thing for the other. Well, yeah, that's exactly what you're going to be doing. Think about it. If you have an old car and you want to get rid of it, what do you usually try to do before you end up selling that car, especially if you have no other vehicles available? You usually make sure you have a new one lined up, right? If you're trying to leave a job, I would assume, now some people don't do this, but I would assume that most people, before they were to leave a job that they got, have something else lined up. They know what they're going to do. They know where they're going. Most people don't just quit a job and, say, well, I got no idea where I'm going. I've got no idea what I'm going to do for money. I've got no idea what the next move is. So you need to make sure that you've got that in place. What is this new life that you're trying to go for? So you have to have that. And then on top of that, you need to make sure that whatever it is, this new thing that you're trying to set out and go after, you need to make sure that it absolutely is something you believe you can do. A lot of people jump into change. They say, yeah, I'm going to become this, I'm going to become that, I'm going to become this and everything else, and I'm going to do this and that, and I'm going to get here. And they just leave it at that. They don't really think it through. They don't really, make the plan, if you will. you need to make sure that whatever you're trying to move into, if you're giving this thing up over here, you got to make sure you got something new lined up. All right. Now, if you struggle with the belief aspect, the belief, for example, that first one where it's like you got to believe that you can have a better life, you got to believe that things can get better without this thing, you know, if you're struggling there, then my suggestion to you is that you simply open up to the idea that there are plenty of other things out there you could do that are greater and that are better and that result in a better feeling, result in more rewarding consequences as opposed to negative consequences. You need to open up to that idea, all right? And I feel like most addicts don't really do that. Again, treatment doesn't do a good job of implanting the idea in you that, like, you can move on from this. You can go on with a different kind of life. You can move on to bigger, better things. No, we say, again, you're diseased and that substances have, you know, ruined you in a way. And so you can't be like a normal individual anymore. You know what I mean? I don't believe that for a second, and I hope you don't either. But if you do, then where you need to start is by opening up first to the idea that there are other things I can do that I can get just as much enjoyment from, if not more. Some of us have probably already discovered this, whether it's through time spent with kids. You know, most of the people I talk to, they say a good day with my kids is better than any high I ever had. You know, so if you've got that idea going and you believe that, then again, you need to take that further. You need to dive into that kind of thinking. Quit thinking that you're screwed up. Quit thinking that, you know, you're messed up and that normal things that other people enjoy, you can enjoy. You certainly can. All right. But for some of us, first thing we need to do is get rid of the idea that substances are the only thing that I can enjoy. I need, you know, and so the challenge for you is, okay, is that based in fact? And have you figured that out? Do you know that 100%? Because I'm going to tell you this, all right? There are certain times that I've been invited to certain concerts. I've been asked to watch certain shows. I walk into it with my own assumption that, well, hey, I'm this kind of person. You know, like, I'm a metalhead. You ask me to go to any other kind of concert, I'll be, what? You know, and I say to myself that, oh, this is going to be a waste of time, right? I'm a metalhead, right? I'm not going to enjoy going to a symphony, you know, or I'm not going to enjoy going to like a Taylor Swift concert and everything else. But you know what often happens is I'm proven wrong. I get there and I remain open to the idea that I might actually enjoy this thing. And guess what typically happens? I find out I do. You know, I go there with an open mind and I find out, wow, all right, I was completely wrong. And I guarantee you've had experiences like that before. All right, this same thing can happen with your substance use. Don't believe the lie that you are ruined now. That for some reason, because you had experiences with substance, that you have destroyed yourself for enjoying normal things. I'm going to tell you the only thing that's probably making that true is the fact that you believe that. All right? And so that's my encouragement to you. Again, I got to keep this short because certain people are waiting for me to cook for them. But I just wanted to throw that out there. I want to make sure that I'm posting at least some kind of video every single day. Next video is going to be the actual next lesson. I believe we're on step 2. So be on the lookout for that. Again, good luck to everybody out there. Anyone who's struggling, I wish you well. I want you to know there is hope. With the right thinking, the right ideas, we can beat this thing. All right? Millions of people have done it. I've done it. The only difference is that, well, we didn't necessarily go through the whole treatment deal. And I think I think there's a reason why certain people are more successful than others. And those more successful people more often than not, have never stepped foot into a treatment center. And I think that's saying something. So anyway, food for thought. Y'all got this. All right. We can do it. We do recover and we do go on with our lives. We move on from these problems if only we would allow ourselves to do it. All right. Love y'all. We'll see you soon.